When I think of modern day society, I'm not sure if I should feel thankful or disappointed. Sure, I'm grateful to be alive, have family and friends, but then I think about everything else. The constant divide among us all, the lack of real escapism due to everything seemingly having politics or agendas crammed in. And sadly, those of us who try to speak out about this crap either get bombarded by nut jobs or in fear of getting deplatformed. I can't say I get excited when I find out something I've heard of or personally enjoyed back in the day makes a comeback and I hear the dreaded words, made for a modern day audience, because I know what that usually entails. It seems like even the most innocent form of media gets absorbed by this self-righteous cesspool of modern day propaganda suited for an audience comprised of degenerates in desperate need of therapy. Some may not understand why many of us get controversial, but think about some of your favorite franchises. Think about the characters, what defines them, and what they mean to you. Take into account how long said franchises and characters have been around and how they have followed a pattern throughout the years. It's due to a little something called source material. Now they take those franchises and their source material and give it to someone who isn't really interested in the films or video games they're adapting. Then give an interview and say something along the lines of, "This is made for a modern day audience," or "We want to subvert expectations." After that, we wait a few months, the product releases, and we see what those words meant. There have been plenty of examples of established properties getting the modern day treatment, where the buffoons in charge express wanting to subvert expectations, and more often than not, we see how it all plays out. To the smooth brains out there that think it's about racists being mad or misogynists being upset, maybe if you actually understood what those stories and characters are actually about, you might understand. I know it's hard to process why actual fans of these franchises feel insulted when woke hacks do a race or gender swap and inject social commentary to appease you simpletons. We saw how you clowns acted when that white Black Panther art went online, further proving the hypocrisy from the outrage mob. All of you crying about that, but can't understand why people criticize The Little Mermaid or Black Wesker in that quote-unquote smash hit Resident Evil show. The truth is, we all know why fans of beloved franchises get annoyed when they get hijacked by disingenuous asshats. They don't care about the source material. A character like Blade is black, has always been black, keep him black. Same goes for a character like Albert Wesker. He is white, he has always been white, keep him white. You start changing aspects of characters' identity to perform some virtuous deed rather than making new properties and characters. Of course fans will have a problem. This is not controversial, it's common sense. Instead of applauding these hacks for giving you hand-me-downs, you should be demanding better. Changing the race or gender of established characters just so you can get diversity points from mentally disturbed internet activists is pathetic and misguided. How many more shows, movies, games, and comics need to tank in order for you delusional morons to understand? This whole modern audience approach won't fly with everyone. Your core audience won't all be on board. Backlash is to be expected, and if you can't handle the backlash, fans will take notice. Adding little digs to a certain group of people won't always work either. Painting men as low IQ sexists in order to make the female characters seem strong, more intelligent, or somehow more endearing has a very good chance of blowing up in your face. We've seen how these companies use those drastic changes as weapons. Don't like a character being race swapped? You must be a racist. You don't like a character being gender swapped? You must be a sexist. You don't like a character suddenly being gay, lesbian, or bi? You must be a homophobe. You don't like forced one-sided political commentary in the story? You must be a right-wing extremist. You don't like a series shifting its tone that takes away its identity? You must be a boomer who wants everything to stay the same. Any of this sound familiar? They will use these cheap, juvenile tactics to label you something you are not, and allow the corporate henchmen to harass you whenever you say anything critical. They make these changes to established franchises to use as shields whenever criticism come their way. They use the modern day audience to fight their battles. You'll have the usual mentally disturbed otakus online with emojis, flags, pronouns, and diagnosis going on about how these changes are great and needed in the world, telling people to touch grass and to get a life. But let these companies turn Goku or Naruto black. Watch how quickly the weebs will show up to stop that. They've allowed these companies to slaughter Death Note and Cowboy Bebop. And look how those turned out. We know the fate of Netflix's attempts at One Piece and Yu Yu Hakusho. Straight to the Shadow Realm with the rest of them. The reality is this. These uncreated minds in the board meetings get a hold of these established properties and make up whatever they want with them. Because we see how mediocre these adaptations turn out. So it becomes obvious their own original creations will turn to shit. So they take what you enjoy and make it for people who never cared about it until it got that modern day treatment. You cringe when they tell you they are going to subvert expectations, while the small vocal modern audience wets their pants in joy to get yet another woke adaptation that will live forever in infamy. I don't know about any of you, but I'm tired of seeing franchises in television, movies, comics, and video games get made for a modern audience. Time and time again, I've seen series become unrecognizable in favor of an audience comprised of drones unwilling to break their master's programming. If a modern day audience means people with thin skin, no sense of humor, low standards, race and gender swaps, tolerates only one-sided social commentary, and will fight tooth and nail for billion-dollar corporations, then I'd rather stay in the past, when this nonsense wasn't commonplace, and until more people tell these companies no, the worse it will get. But if they really want to subvert our expectations, then how about they make something that doesn't suck donkey dick?